Hello folks, I'm John Myrie and welcome to the Wisconsin Northland Outdoors. On this week's show we have reports and tips for you from Jarrett McCarthy down at Hayward Bait and Bottle. And then we talk with the Hayward Bass Club President Wayne Valsavich about the youth tournament and bass fishing and a lot more. Lots to cover on this week's show, all coming up right after these messages.
The fishing opener has come and gone. If you fished it from an old, inadequate boat, were stuck on shore, or worse yet, didn't go out at all, we can help. Hayward Power Sports has an awesome selection of new Lund boats, rigged and ready. You'll find the 1650 Angler, the 1775 Impact, the 1875 Crossover, and many more. We're offering massive Hayward Power Sports discounts up to $7,500, plus we'll throw in a free storage for next winter. Come see us at Hayward Power Sports, just 10 minutes east of Hayward on Highway 77.
Riding along in my automobile.
Bumping into things unexpectedly? Make your first choice for collision repair. Ernie's Auto Body, featuring the most advanced collision repair facility in Northwest Wisconsin. With a state-of-the-art spray bake down draft paint booth for that better-than-new finish, laser technology for precision frame alignment, loaner cars available, computerized estimates, written guarantees, and documented unmatched customer service, the clear choice is Ernie's Auto Body, south of Hayward on Highway 63 and Nursery Road, where quality is no accident.
Big fish stories come to life at the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame. The world's largest shrine to freshwater anglers boasts a 4.5-story tall walk-through musky that's a half a city block long. It's like taking a peek into Granddad's old tackle box with thousands of mounted fish, antique outboard motors, and historical sport fishing artifacts. Stop in and take a chance on our 50-50 cash raffle. You could walk away with a pile of cash. See the big ones that didn't get away at the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame, Highways 27 and B in Hayward. Open daily, including Sundays, through October 31st at 9:30 a.m. Lynn's Custom Meats and Catering welcomes you to stop by for their great lunch menu. And while you're there, Lynn's also has a great selection of custom-cut meats and sausages, as well as many varieties of snack sticks, jerky, fresh cheese curds, and much more. Lynn's is open Mondays through Fridays from 9 to 5:30 and 9 to 4 on Saturdays. Lynn's Custom Meats and Catering in Hayward.
Today, anglers fish longer. Today, anglers fish harder. Today, anglers rely more than ever on their electronics. It all comes down to catching more fish, and today, anglers rely on Amped Outdoors lithium batteries, period. Visit ampedoutdoors.com today to power your outdoor experience.
We're recording this week down Hayward Bait and Bottle. Jarrett McCarthy down here. And Jarrett, we've had some hot weather.
Yeah, we absolutely have. It's been nice for a change to see summer around, actually, instead of, 60, 70 degrees. But, yeah, sure does feel like summer out there.
Yeah, I know some of the guys, including me, were really starting to think about some lakes with the water temperature. We saw over 80 degrees on some lakes as far as muskies, but hopefully that's going to cool off a little bit with temperatures forecast a little bit cooler.
Yeah, looks like it. I see a little bit of rain coming up. I see some temps in the upper 70s, which is definitely going to help those water temps. So, for the safety of the fish that you're catching out there, will do us a lot of favors.
Especially muskies. Muskies seem to be, believe it or not, big muskies are a lot more sensitive than people think as far as being handled too much in warm water. Let's talk about the walleye fishing. There's not much going on there, or is there something going on?
I guess it depends on where you are. Obviously we're getting into that midsummer bite where the fishing's going to get a little tougher than it has been so far this year. But those guys are going to get out there and they're going to start trolling. We're starting to see walleyes just kind of out roaming flats right now. There's still going to be a couple up on your weed flats and kind of hiding in the weeds. There always is, but right now it's just going to be getting on them and finding those peak feeding windows because, past couple of weeks we've had a lot of anglers that are out there and they're seeing fish out there, but with these high sunny days that we've had and, a lot of them have like absolutely no walleye chop on them. It can get really tough to fish for them out there. So just staying on active fish and making sure you're looking around, bringing baits by them and not giving them those walleyes a chance to think about it, making them hit on a reaction strike. That's going to be the key here for the next month or so.
And if you're up here on vacation and you really want to catch walleyes, that's what your main focus is. Spend your daytime out there trolling open water with crawler harnesses or whatever. spend them golden hours, that last couple hours of the day or early in the morning, sitting on your favorite walleye spot. They'll probably come up on it, maybe slip bobber bite, or just jig bite.
Yeah, slip bobber and leeches, or pitching a jig with a leech or a crawler on it. That's the best times to be out there, and it's the most comfortable time to be out there too with the hot weather that we've had lately, is right away in the morning and during the evening. So yeah, definitely a good strategy.
How about the panfish? Probably more people fishing panfish up here.
Yeah, so bluegills and crappie have been pretty good. Bluegills are off in the weeds or just off the weeds onto some structurally cribs and what have you. Some of the bigger bulls will be out kind of roaming the basins right now. Crappies have been all over the place. We're seeing some crappies that are still up, fairly shallow, 5-10 feet of water. And, shallow is a relative term, depends on the lake that you're on, just like deep is, that we've talked about before. But seeing some crappies off cribs, some crappies off of deep weeds. We're seeing some crappies out in 30 feet of water roaming, just kind of eating insects out there. But there's a lot of different areas to target fish right now.
Yeah, as far as bait for either one of them, my tip is to go with the plastics or a gulp or something first. If you can't catch them, then you can go to the live bait. But try the plastics and the artificial first.
Absolutely. Try plastics and artificials. It's tough getting away from live bait if you use live bait your whole life. But, those plastics, you'll fish a lot faster with them. A lot of times a bigger plastic, you'll select for a lot of those bigger fish in there. And then as soon as you select all the, the active fish in the school or what have you can come back through them with a slip bobber and a minnow or a crawler or something like that, and you can really do some damage there.
What are you hearing on bass fishing? I know we're starting to see a few bass tournaments going on and some of that, and usually bass are pretty good through the summer months, especially largemouth.
Yeah, absolutely, and they have been. Seeing some anglers out there getting some really nice largemouth out there. They're kind of all over the place. There's some fish out deep. There's still some fish up shallow in the weeds or what have you. Got a lot of guys out there. They're throwing Senkos out there. They're doing top waters. A bunch of different tactics that'll work really well for largemouth right now.
And smallmouth, I've heard kind of mixed reports on that. I've heard they've been off a little bit on some lakes.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot of really finessey smallmouth out there right now. Some lakes bites tough, some lake bites okay. A lot of guys are out there doing their drop shot rigs right now. They're running their Ned rigs, so kind of that finesse, kind of take her slow smallmouth bite right now.
One tip I can say with a Ned rig I found is that the plastics you have on there make a big difference. I mean, I fished a lot of Z-Man stuff, the TRDs on 16-ounce heads, and I tried this new Rapala Crush City. With the Crush City's a little bit bigger and a little thicker. Both those plastics are the new style of plastic, which float. And you watch the drop speed on that BLT on a 16-ounce head, and it just floats down really slow. So if you're looking to really finesse a fish, that would be a good choice, I think.
And I think the key word here is slow. I think a lot of anglers out there, they think slow is, slow to them could be fast to us or what have you. And, if you're taking any kind of recommendations when you're fishing those high sunny days out there that the wind really ain't blowing and it's hot outside, really slow things down, because those fish, they don't want to move a whole lot. A lot of times they'll stay glued to the bottom, so they really want something moving slow by them to be able to hit it.
Well, that particular bait combination I was talking about, I thought I was fishing slow when I started looking at it like 8 feet of water. When I started watching it on live or Garmin Live Scope, I was only fishing about 5 feet down. I wasn't getting it to the bottom. So if you fish those finesse things that really drop slow, you give it plenty of time and move it slow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how about, musky fishing? What's going on there?
So compared to the beginning of the season, obviously fishing has started to slow down, and that's partly because the water is getting so warm and partly because a lot of our anglers are starting to back off muskies because of those water temps. It's tough right now on those muskies, like we were saying earlier. You get any number of muskies, no matter how big they are or what have you, in this warm water, and, making sure that they release safely is... it's definitely a concern. So a lot of our anglers around here, kudos to them. They're kind of putting muskies on the back burner for a while and going out and fishing for other species while we have such warm water temps.
As far as the other fishing, pike fishing, that's been pretty good from what I'm hearing, but the bigger pike have moved a little deeper.
Yep, they moved out deeper right alongside the walleyes that are out roaming the flats right now, but pike fishing's been pretty good. There's lots of pike in a lot of lakes around here, and if you're looking for something to eat, obviously, take one of those pikes out of there. Yep.
Oh, you bet. And they're just as good as walleyes. Anyway, Jared, down here at the shop, I know you guys are pretty busy down here. You got everything anybody needs for summer fishing, especially if they're on a bass fish or panfish. And you got a huge selection of musky baits. Hopefully the water's going to cool a little bit for that.
Yep, doesn't matter what you're fishing for. We got it here. We got the intel here, too, if you're looking for a little bit of spot-on-the-spot recognition here. So stop on in and see us.
Thank you, Jared.
Thanks, John.
Well, folks, we need to take a break right now and hear from some of the fine sponsors that make this show possible every week. When we come back, we'll be talking to the Hayward Bass Club president, Wayne Belsavage. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages. Hayward Bait and Bottle is your one-stop for the Hayward area's largest selection of rods, reels, lures, fishing electronics, boating supplies, and they've now expanded their selection of soft plastic bass and walleye baits. No matter what you're fishing for, at Hayward Bait and Bottle, you'll find everything you'll need for a successful season. And while you're there, in their bottle shop, you'll find a full selection of beer, wine, and liquor, too. And also don't forget, now they carry Shoremaster docks, lifts, and accessories at Hayward Bait and Bottle.
The Hayward Lakes Visitors and Convention Bureau in Sawyer County, Wisconsin welcomes you to our Northwoods hometown. No matter the season, no matter the activity, you'll always be surrounded by our great outdoors. What more could you ask for in a vacation destination? Woods, waters, world-class events. Contact us for information on lodging, dining, attractions, events, trail conditions, and more. Order your free vacation guide and start planning your getaway today. Visit us at haywardlakes.com or call 1-800-724-2992.
Get out of your chair and into fresh air with a new Can-Am side-by-side or ATV from Hayward Power Sports. Hurry in for a very limited number of select 2023 side-by-sides that offer up to $3,500 in rebates, plus financing as low as 1.99% for 36 months. Meanwhile, our selection of 2024s is huge and offer rebates up to $1,000 and again, 1.99% financing for 36 months. If you enjoy the creature comforts, test drive an incredibly popular Can-Am Defender HD10 side-by-side. It comes standard with a full cab including heat and air conditioning. Looking for a value-priced machine? The Can-Am Defender XT HD7 features a winch, roof, front bumper, and full skid plate. With the $1,000 rebate, your price is just $15,399. Your new Can-Am side-by-side or ATV is waiting for you at Hayward Power Sports, just 10 minutes east of Hayward on Highway 77.
Certain restrictions apply, subject to credit approval. See your dealer for details. Always wear a helmet, never drink and ride.
Welcome back to another segment of this week's Wisconsin Northland Outdoors, and this part of the show is brought to you by the Hayward Lakes Visitor and Convention Bureau. For more information on lodging and vacationing here in the Hayward Lakes area, check out their website at haywardlakes.com. Folks, we've got several different organizations here in the Hayward area that promote fishing and have great events. One of them is the Hayward Bass Club, and on this week's show, we have the Hayward Bass Club president, Wayne Belsavage, on talking about the Youth Bass Tournament that's coming up and a lot more. Wayne, great to have you on the show here.
Oh, good to be back on with you there, John.
I know that bass fishing's your thing. And I know as we're talking, you were out fishing a tournament just the other day. I caught you in the middle of the water.
Oh, you did. You caught me on the middle of the Chippewa flowage. I was doing some bass hunting.
Speaking of the Chippewa flowage, one of the things, you're the Bass Club president, one of the things they put on every year is a youth bass tournament. That's coming up.
Yeah, we're putting that on. This is going to be our 20th year, John, actually. We started out on Spring Lake, moved to Twin Tiger Cat, and then we outgrew all those venues. And we've been doing it at the Landing now for about 15 years, thanks to the Landing Resort and Denny Ray's out there. We use the property. We have a couple hundred people come in there, and usually about 40, 45 youth, and we take them out for an afternoon of bass fishing, just like the pros.
It seems like a pretty well-attended event, and everybody has a great time out there.
Oh, yeah. And some of these youngsters, imagine that. They were doing it 20 years ago, so they're all grown up, and they're leaders in the fishing community right now.
Well, there's nothing more, life-lasting as getting involved with fishing, it seems like.
Oh, yeah, John, that's what we do. Both Muskies Incorporated here in Hayward and the Hayward Bass Club, we're all about getting people outdoors as much as possible, and we focus on the youth. We resurrected and put on, with the Rod and Gun Club, we put on the Fishing Derby this year. We revived that. That's been going on for 65 years here in Hayward. And I don't know if you realize it, we were asked by the Chamber to step up, so both organizations came forward and we ran the Musky Fest Fishing Contest, which is now all conservation catch and release, and you do it via photos. And this youth tournament's the same thing. It's a catch and release event. It's where we get bass club members, avid bass anglers. We've got some semi-pros, and we put 2 youth in each one of their boats, and we take them out for an afternoon, just like you see on TV, just like where they are catching fish. Each youth gets to bring in 3 bass to the weigh-in. We put them up on stage. Everybody goes home with prizes and gifts, courtesy of a lot of local benefactors, mostly, Muskies Incorporated, Scope, okay, Outdoor Creations, Jeff Strand, Tom Duffy Law. We've got sponsors have been with us since the very beginning, and Hayward Bait here.
Is that on the chip? Is that both sides of the flowage, or is there any restriction?
It's both sides of the flowage, largemouth and or smallmouth, and we've had both come in. We've had some monster smallmouth come in. We've had some monster largemouth, but to make it fun, and that's the whole big thing about bass fishing. Bass fishing is just pure fun, and it's especially suited to take youth out. They can go out and they can go work all day to try to get a muskie, which is great, but they can go out and they can catch some nice big fish, and rather easily. Okay, bass fishing is kind of easy.
Bass are pretty cooperative generally.
They generally are. Of course, I think I needed to have a talk with some of them yesterday because they weren't showing up next to my boat very often.
You think the high water temperatures we're starting to see are affecting?
The high water temperatures, that's the thing. Bass are very resistant to temperature change. Down in Oklahoma, I fished lakes where the water temperature was 105 degrees, and the bass were just very, very cooperative. You just have to adapt to the conditions.
You already got all the kids signed up, or is there still room?
Oh, no, there's still room, but they need to make their reservations quick. For me, this is my biggest stress event of the year because I'm always balancing our volunteer boats and boat captains with the number of youth that sign up. So the youth have to have reservations, and the easiest way to get a reservation is to stop by Hayward Bait and get on the sign-up list, to email the Hayward Bass Club at haywardbassclub@gmail.com, or to text me, on my phone number, which is 405-227-1789, or to Facebook message our Hayward Bass Club Facebook page. Now, the thing is this is going to be on the 28th of July. That's a Sunday. The youth have to show up. With the youth with the reservations need to show up no later than 11:15 with a signed permission slip, or we've got blanks on site for their parents to sign or their guardians to sign. They go out and fish from noon until 4, and then we have a big weigh-in, and then we serve everybody, grandparents, parents, the youth, our staff. We serve everybody a meal. This year I'm expecting 40, 45 youth. We'll be setting them out in probably 22, 23 boats. But like I say, there's room right now, but as we get toward those last few days before the event, I might have to terminate signups.
And Wayne, we're talking about bass fishing, and bass fishing is, people think of walleye fishing up here, but bass fishing overall is one of the biggest sports out there.
Oh, it is. And believe it or not, if you go out and you go out on all our local lakes, and I'm on all our local lakes all the time because I run the Hayward Bass Club, and we have 75 folks in our Wednesday night leagues, and we go to all the local lakes. It's amazing how many people you see out there bass fishing, because to catch a bass and hold it up, get a picture, release it back in the water is just something that has caught on, and so many people are doing.
Well, folks, we need to take it another break and hear from even more of the fine sponsors that make this show possible every week. And when we come back, we'll have the second part of that talk we had with Hayward Area Bass Club President Wayne Persson. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages. Hey folks, come on over to Hayward Ace Hardware and check out the area's largest selection of firearms, ammo, and accessories. We carry top brands like Browning and Sig Sauer, and we have a great selection of the newest and hard-to-find models. We've got a large selection of ammo with more coming in daily. If you need a scope, we carry great brands like Leupold, Hawk, and EOTech, and we'll even mount it and bore sight it for you too. We even sell suppressors and silencers. And don't forget to check out our Guns of the Week. Huge discounts on a variety of pistols, rifles, and shotguns that change every week. So stop on in to Hayward Ace Hardware, your firearms superstore. Hayward Ace Hardware, Highway 63 North in Hayward, or give us a call at 715-634-8700.
Hayward Animal Hospital is a full-service medical and surgical hospital featuring on-site laboratory, digital and dental x-ray, in-house pharmacy, and online store. Dr. Ostrander has 40 years of experience dealing with illnesses, injuries, surgery, and dentistry. Hayward Animal Hospital offers urgent care appointments and emergency surgery daily. Please call early in the day for these appointments. They open at 8 a.m. Hayward Animal Hospital is located 1 mile east of Hayward on Highway B. Call 715-634-8971.
Hey folks, the Log Cabin Store in Northwoods Beach on Highway K between the Big Lakes has groceries, ice, beer, liquor, and pop, and now has all new tackle and bait supplies. All current antiques and household items are now on sale and all must go to make room for the sport shop. That's at the Log Cabin Store in Northwoods Beach between the Big Lakes.
If you'd like to have your time fishing be more enjoyable and productive, hiring a fishing guide can be a good investment. Whether it's learning more about fish patterns throughout the year, learning how to use your depth finder to find the best spots and fish, learn how to use that GPS to get the most out of it, or learn better boat control. A day on the water with a guide can really help you to be a better angler as well as make a day on the lake very enjoyable. To book a guide trip this year or get more information, you can find us on the internet at www.wiscnorthlandoutdoors.com and then just click on Area Guides.
Welcome back to the last segment of this week's Wisconsin Northland Outdoors. And folks, we're going to jump right back into the second part of that talk we had with Wayne on bass fishing. And that's actually changed over the years too, because I've been up here guiding for 45 years. And, when they came here, there wasn't a lot of bass stuff. You have spinner baits, but, there wasn't a big selection of bass plastics and stuff. It was available out there, places like Bass Pro and stuff. But now you walk in like Hayward Bait here, they got rows of bass plastics and stuff for catching bass.
Oh, absolutely. It's a sport made famous by, all the shows on TV. And yes, there's the walleye shows and there's the musky hunting shows and all. But 3/4 or more of all the publicity and all the shows and all that stuff that you see is bass fishing, and that's nationwide.
Yeah, you mentioned nationwide. That's the whole key to it. I mean, the walleye thing, we're up north up here, but we've got great bass fishing too.
Yeah, we have great bass fishing. We always had great bass fishing. Some of my best memories are back in the early 60s, going out to Nelson Lake and being able to not only catch some really, really nice walleyes and some really, really nice crappies, there were a great abundance of over 5-pound largemouth bass in Nelson Lake. Those fish have coexisted there for years and years and years. It was just wonderful. And it's unfortunate that we had a little bump where a minor DNR functionary decided that bass are eating all the walleyes. And that's been disproven by the University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point, and all that. And it's unfortunate that we still see a little bit of that mindset. And that's just too bad, because it's so much fun to go out there and catch and go out there in search of muskies, which is great. For example, you out in Moose Lake, great muskie fishery, or to go out and target some walleyes, and we've got all kinds of regulations and all kinds of changes and everything else trying to an initiative. And I was with Walleyes from Northwest Wisconsin as long as it existed to try to bring walleyes back. But bass have existed here for so long, and they adapt so well, and they're just so much more fun.
Well, Wayne, you said something that was kind of interesting there, though, too, is that, there was a war on bass for a while, but there's too much of, nowadays we've got people that are hardcore musky fishermen and hardcore walleye fishermen and hardcore bass fishermen and hardcore crappie fishermen. And it seems like that if they can't catch fish, it's the walleyes, it's the muskies ate them, it's something else. And a lot of times it's a harvest-related issue with some of the fish that they keep.
Oh, yeah. Harvest is probably the number one limiting factor on seeing reductions of fish populations of certain species and areas. And now that the electronics are so much better, and the gear is so much better, and the baits are so much better, and everything else, people have pretty high success harvesting fish. Whether that be a muskie or a walleye or a bass or crappies or big bluegills, we're seeing a lot more harvest, okay, and harvest possibility and higher percentage of harvest when people go out fishing. So we just all need to remain conservation minded and return the fish to the water if we're not going to eat them for dinner.
Well, and you mentioned harvest. It seems people say, well, I practice catch and release, but I don't care how good you are at practicing catch and release, you still have a mortality factor. So in fact, you are harvesting some fish, so fish die. So it becomes, like you said, it's becoming an issue where individuals need to back up and take a look at how are we handling fish? What are we doing, even when we're releasing fish? Exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned that. That's why, we have great aerators, and a lot of the aerators actually have bubblers in them as well. Okay. We have stuff to take care of fish and how you're handling them, and especially the sensitive fish. If you're going to go out and do catch and release on walleye or catch and release on muskie during the warm water period, you've got to be really, really, really careful. And smallies too. You don't want to be hauling fish up way below the thermocline in the middle of summer and bring them up to the warm water and then put them in a live well for where they've come up from 55 degrees or 60 degrees and put them in a live well where your water temperature is 75 or 80 degrees. So it's all, and also handling them, laying them on carpet, taking their slime level off, all those kinds of things. And we teach that. We show a lot of respect for the fish, and that's an opportunity for the youth when they come out for this youth event. Also, they'll be out there with people that know how to handle fish, and we show them how to do that. Wayne, lots of great information there. I'm going to ask you kind of one question here is, if you had to tell somebody to learn to fish one particular bait, in particular for bass, and only one bait, what would it be? It would be a wacky worm. Okay, I used to say Texas rig worm because it's easy to rig. Okay, but I would just say a stick bait like a Yamamoto Senko or a Yumdinger in 5-inch. Okay, if you're Texas rig with a number 4 or number 5/0 hook, weightless, or wacky hook, you hook it in the center of the bait sideways, and you put it down there with a number 3 or number 2 hook. Sometimes you have a little brush guard on that hook, okay, and put it in front of those fish, and I tell you what, the bass just scarf them up. You bet. And I'll add, fish it slow. Oh yeah, fishing it slow. And if it's weightless, give it a chance to sink, jig it around a little bit, then retrieve it. Yeah, and what you said there too, that if you want to fish fast, you want to cover a lot of water, cast it to your target area, work it a little bit through that target area, and then zip it back in and cast it to another spot. Yeah, if you're out there looking for fish, I'd say my second go-to thing this year or the last few years, and I know a lot of people have changed over to a search bait, to a swim bait. Okay. Well, Wayne, a lot of great stuff there, a lot of great information. Again, where do they get a hold of, just a quick, is there information down here at Hayward Bait? Down here at Hayward Bait, they can come in, talk to the staff. We have the flyers and the permission slips here, and also the roster. But people can get on the roster by contacting me directly, and you can do that. All the information is also on the Hayward Bass Club Facebook page. It comes right up as a banner on top. You'll see all the information on our youth tournament coming up on the 28th of July on the Chippewa Flowage. Well, thank you very much, Wayne. Thank you, John. Well, folks, we're about out of time for this week's show. I'd like to remind everyone out there that if you miss a show, go to our website at wnoradio.com. From there, you can link to our podcast site, and the show is also on Spotify and Google Podcasts every week. And also, if you're looking for information on vacationing and lodging here in the Hayward Lakes area, check out the Hayward Lakes Visitor and Convention Bureau website at haywardlakes.com. Thanks for listening, folks. We're out of time, and we'll be back again next week with another interesting show for you.
Listen with me, I'm gonna take you there to our Wisconsin outdoors, our Wisconsin outdoors.
This program has been produced and hosted entirely by Wisconsin Northland Outdoor Communications. Any and all views expressed are not necessarily those of the station.